Hey everybody, welcome to the Algonauts official YouTube channel. I'm Cooper Daniels from the Recoup. Pretty soon you might know me as Cooper Daniels from the Algonauts. Who knows? But there's enough of me to go around. And today, folks, is the first video for the Algonauts official YouTube channel. Alright? So what you can do for us is hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're so kind, head on over to Twitter and give @AlgonautsO a follow. And then in the description of this video, there'll be a link to the Algonauts official Discord group. Go ahead and join there. That's where this whole thing was born out of. And all the content we're doing here is going to be for the community, by the community. All right. And today we've got a doozy for you. We've got an NFT extravaganza. We've got a few of the most exciting NFT artists that are building on Algorand right now, and a couple of the most exciting marketplaces. It's a good one. And it's going to be an interview with me, Cooper Daniels, and your boy Shaman, aka Andrew Kotelak. All right. So without further ado, Goanna, Algo House, Algo Squirrel, ZestBloom, let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Algonauts official YouTube channel. I'm Cooper Daniels, and we've got an exciting day for you. I'm here with Andrew, aka Shaman. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, guys?
How you doing today? You doing good?
Not too bad. Just here to talk some NFTs.
That's it, man. So yeah, we've got some of the, most exciting artists in the NFT space at Algorand right now. We got Andrew from Algo House. What's up, Andrew?
Hey.
Hey. And Benji from Goanna.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, and Ryan from Algo Squirrel.
Hey guys.
Yeah, cool. When I think of NFTs, the first thing I think of is cool art, right? And all of you obviously have that, and that's cool. But as I've looked into your projects, like there's so much more to the NFT space that I don't think that everybody actually realizes. I mean, there's DAOs and, future news networks and environmental activism and all of that stuff. I think all of your projects are so cool. So maybe we'll just start this off with maybe each of you introducing yourselves and talking a little bit about your project and, why you came over to Algorand or, things like that. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't we start with you, Benji?
Okay, so I guess for me, I've kind of followed the crypto space for a few years, kind of pretty common story. Got into it probably 2017, made a little bit of money, lost pretty much all of it, but I kept an interest in crypto more broadly. Kind of at the end of last year, I became aware of Algorand, and found it really exciting. So I kind of followed that all through this year, and kind of the more I followed it, the more excited I got about how good it was, all the kind of, solving the trilemma, etc. And I've always wanted to find a way to be involved and take part in crypto. And I guess for me, not coming from a kind of either a finance or a dev background, there kind of wasn't any opportunities. And then when I started becoming more aware of what was happening with the NFTs, it was a space that I kind of had a skill set, coming from, I come from a background in kind of creative arts, digital media, marketing. So there was scope for me to do something within the space. And yeah, so we launched the Algoanna project. It was, by that time it was a no-brainer to do it on Algorand. It was the only platform that I'd want to work on. So we'd kind of had a look around at what was happening on some of the other chains, perhaps with some of the bigger projects on ETH and Solana. And our goal was basically to try and bring something kind of that was, that could be seen on that kind of level and that sort of, but do it our way and do it on Algorand. So we launched, now in, I think this is week 5. So yeah, it's only just over a month. It feels like it's been about 12 months. And yeah, we're releasing 489 one-of-one NFTs as the whole collection. It's going to be done over 12 weekly drops. The initial plan was we were going to plant one tree for every NFT that we sold. The first drop went so well, we went out and planted like 1,500 trees straight away. And now our goal is, I think at the moment, we're pretty close to 3,000. We're gonna, I've said publicly, we're going to aim to do 5,000, but we're going to smash that. And we're going to have a much bigger impact than that. And then now we're looking at doing some other stuff. We've got some merch happening. We've got owners clubs. We've got a staking program that's going to begin to roll out next week. The stakers will be able to take part in governance. And then that's going to lead on to kind of a derivative project in the future, and some other exciting things happening as well. Like there's a video game in the works. Lots of stuff going on.
That's awesome. I want to talk more about like governance and what's coming up with that too in a little bit. So let's move to Andrew over at Algo House. Let's hear a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so Algo House is going to be really a multi-project team, a multi-project brand. So we won't stick with just Algo Sands. We've got another couple different projects in the works right now and planning on launching them. Really want a few really great pieces of art that are really low volume that sell for maybe higher algo, and then a lot of really maybe high volume, lower value art, lower algo art that is like more in transaction, more fun to trade, just for people who maybe can't afford some of the greater pieces that we're working on. So I guess the vision really is to build a community that has like a shared goal. So right now it's NFTs and it's art, and that'll continue throughout our lifespan because that's just what we're good at. But if you see my roadmap that we just put out, I think yesterday, it's really about providing rewards to the community, but also the Algo News Network, which is early on, but it's come from a pretty well developed concept from years ago for me. So really, it's going to be picking up enough steam to get that rolling and have that play a big part in the team here.
Cool. And so when it comes, you said that do you have a history with news, or is that?
So actually, my history is really development. I started in graphic design in probably about 15 years ago. So, but that's never been a career,
Right. And I think it's actually kind of silly that I haven't even mentioned it yet, but like, congratulations on Sylvia Macaulay changing his profile picture today. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
That's the news of the day. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, screw Tiny Man. Like, I mean,
right.
Tiny Man going live, but whatever. Like, that was awesome. So congrats on that, man.
Yeah,
right,
I woke up and I saw that, and I was just like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
That's how you made it.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's huge. That's the holy grail, man.
I mean, yeah, an Algorand. I mean, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so cool. All right, and now we got Ryan from Algo Squirrel. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, just living the dream, making NFTs, talking to artists and some great people in the community. So super excited to be here. You all may be familiar with Crypto Squirrel Association. It's a series of 1,111 one-of-one generative NFTs. I have to give a huge shout out to Gurkhan, at Gurkhan Algo on Twitter. He is the creative mastermind and the genius behind the squirrels. We're essentially working in tandem on an overarching project called Acorn that I've been developing about half a year now. And the focus on Acorn, the focus of Acorn is essentially to help create an NFT ecosystem centered around not just squirrels and acorns, but animals as a whole, and donate a minimum of 10% of gross revenues to different charitable causes. So we've raised over 1,000. Algo have been able to purchase directly purchase cages for overwintering squirrels. We've, in the name of the Goanna project, have donated 200 trees to their amazing cause. And we're kind of building up a coffer right now of Algorand that we can contribute towards more good causes. So it's super exciting. I think that we would really like to pursue beyond the art, and dive into the different types of utilities that we can provide collectors. Some of you may know that there's actually an Acorn token floating around. We airdropped it to over 3,000 unique wallets in the beginning of August. It was trading a bit today on Tiny Man, which was really cool to see. I had no clue Tiny Man was opening up today. So I got a message that, hey, there's a pool for your Acorn. And I said, what's going on? So that was super cool, but certainly focused on providing long-term utility for collectors with Crypto Squirrel Association kind of being the backbone of the Acorn NFT ecosystem. So we're looking at airdrops in the future. We're looking at different ways that we could integrate this Acorn ASA token into the Acorn NFT ecosystem. It's just, where all these projects are really just at the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion, of what we can do. The art is amazing. And I think we're all kind of excited to kind of push things to the next level and showcase why Algorand really is the premier blockchain for developing NFT collections on.
Sweet.
I'm super excited about all your guys' projects. Obviously, that's one of the reasons I had you on here. Definitely interested to hear about the go, the governance, and then just more about, each one of your projects and what you guys are, what's the next steps. I guess we can go back to Benji. I'd like to hear a little bit about the governance thing that you guys got going. Super interested. I think it's kind of a next step in NFTs, providing a kind of a utility to the artwork itself. So I'd like to hear more about that for sure.
Cool. Okay, so I guess the idea came around, obviously, with Algorand releasing their governance program this month. I'd seen some chatter on the Discord and the Telegram of people kind of saying, they were weighing up, we want to take part in governance, and I've got this kind of bag of algo that I've been saving up, but at the same time, I want to jump in and buy a Goanna this weekend, and what do I do? And I was kind of like, well, how can we find a way where people can get both? So that's where the idea came from. Initially, we were looking at, could we take some of the funds from their kind of that primary sale, and then we could stake it, and then we could distribute the rewards and things. And that we kind of looked at, and then on one, the rewards wouldn't be great by the time you'd passed it back over to them. And then there was a few legal issues and whatnot, which kind of complicated things. So we kind of revised it, went back to the drawing board, and just tried to come up with something that gave people a lot better value and was also a lot more fun to take part in. So the current scheme, which we're going to look to roll out next week, anyone who holds a Goanna is going to be able to opt in and stake their Goanna for 8 weeks. To stake it, all they have to do is they have to complete a form on our website. Then they're not allowed to move or transact the Goanna. It's got to stay in the same wallet for that 8-week period. After the 8 weeks, everyone's going to be airdropped an egg. So the egg is going to be, there's going to be different eggs. They're going to be tied to the different sort of rarity skins that we've got on the Goannas. Everyone's going to get a different egg, and that is going to be redeemable against something which will hatch probably Q1 2022. So that's going to be Goanna 2.0. They're also going to get to take part in a series of governance votes where the community gets to decide kind of what direction we take the project in as well. So we're going to bring them in and let them help kind of direct some of that decision making. And then we're also going to run a lottery as well. So everyone's going to get a lottery ticket. There's going to be a whole heap of prizes. We're going to put like 6 different Goannas up, including some rare ones. We've created this idea of a burn token. So that's kind of going to be the top prize I see in this kind of super lottery that we're running. And whoever gets the token, it'll be an NFT in itself, so they can trade it, hold it, or they can redeem it. And if you redeem it, you're going to get to send your Goanna to a burn wallet and and cash in your burn token. And we're going to give you 2 Goannas back. We're going to give you one, which will be the charred remains of your Goanna, which is going to be a super cool looking, unique NFT in itself. And then we're going to work with the with the owner, and we're going to create some super cool, unique Goanna will be unlike anything else in the collection as well.
It'll be like with the owner that's burning the NFT. They'll have input on what it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'd like to bring them in. They can kind of throw some ideas at us, and we'll try and bring those ideas to life, and create something super unique and kind of totally different. So that could be really exciting. Cool. And we're going to run our final drops. We're on week 5, so we're running for 12 weeks. So we're going to leave the staking open that anyone can enter up until a week after the final drop to give everyone a chance to take part. So like that would put, I think that's kind of the end of November. So we're looking probably like sometime in January that we'll be able to actually run the lottery, and then we'll start to see this burn token and stuff come into play.
And I saw that so you also have hidden traits in each one, right? So there's something coming where your NFTs are going to have some sort of hidden traits that are going to reveal things in the future, or how does that work?
We've done a few different things. So, for example, we've had NFTs. Well, some of our NFTs, the Goannas, have featured NFTs from other creators. Mm-hmm. So what we've done, and I guess people have cottoned onto it quite quickly, but whenever we've done that, the first one that we've released, for example, we've had like a Algo bot on a hat. We've had an octopus on a shirt. We had one of Flora's flock on a hoodie. So whenever we've done that, whoever buys that Goanna, they also get the original NFT that's featured on our Goanna as well. So that was kind of one of the things. And then, we're going to look to reveal some surprises along the way and some treats, little Easter eggs for people.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right. And then, Andrew from Algo House. What do you have? What's kind of in store for Algo House that maybe you didn't cover?
So immediately we've got a couple giveaways going on leading up into actually our first reverse auction, which will be on Sunday at 1 Eastern. So that's actually our first auction. We've really only just dropped little bits on AB2 just to our kind of devoted followers, and really had good success. I've built up a lot of great relationships with those folks, but it's really been a small, really small distribution project. The next, I guess after that, we've got a cool concept called Algo Cities coming out. And I don't want to give away the concept too much, but there will be physical prizes involved. There will be scavenger hunts, not necessarily having to go physically to those cities, but the NFT may have a clue in it that you have to go and Google Maps that city and walk around as if you're in that city and find something to release a new NFT that may come to you, or a new physical prize. And if you collect a certain amount of these cities in this, in a certain variation, then thoughts on the prize right now are essentially airline tickets to that city or to a specific city. For cool. A certain level, a certain group of those. So it'll all be cities that are important to the Algorand blockchain and its foundation, and its partners and tokens on there. So that's kind of immediately what's coming next, and then also the light paper we're working on, and that's really what you can expect from us, as well as there will be another release of our Ape series as well, but later on in the year.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love to see the NFTs moving not away from NFTs, but adding that additional value. I think it's like super exciting. I never really even thought about it at first. I thought NFTs were just some cool looking art. You can store it in your wallet, but adding like the things that you and Benji were talking about, I think it's going to add a lot of value to the space and bring people into it as well. And I know you mentioned your first reverse auction at 1 p.m., correct, on Sunday. Is that Eastern Standard Time?
Yep, 1 p.m. Eastern.
And is that going to be on Rand Gallery or?
Yep, Rand Gallery.
Awesome. I'll definitely make sure to check that out because I know I've been wanting to get one of your pieces. I have not been able to find a way to get one yet. So I'll definitely be there. And then speaking of auctions too, I know Benji, Ryan, I know you guys have something going on Sunday as well, correct? So I don't know if Ryan, maybe if you want to jump on that and talk about it, or Benji, either one of you guys.
So I guess I don't know what's public knowledge and what's not regarding that, but
we can always edit this out too if we need.
Yeah,
to.
no, I mean,
you can always edit it out. It's true.
Well, it won't.
we need to get it out there sometime. It's happening on Sunday, so I think actually we'll put some announcements out today.
So plans to have what I would say is the first ever virtual reality NFT auction on Algorand. So super excited for that. I think Benji Goanna has hosted some like the really cool treasure hunt in the past, and that's going to be the drop method for most of the Goanna pieces this coming weekend. And we want to kind of tap into that a little bit deeper. I think we're all thinking, when metaverse? When can we, throw on our VR goggles and meet up together and be a 3D version of our NFTs? I think that's something that really excites all of us, and that's kind of what we are dipping our toes in with this VR auction. So Benji and myself and Gurkhan, not the only artists that will be there. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for more information regarding that. But just super exciting. I don't know if you've had the chance to walk through one of those VR galleries, but the NFTs and the art, it pops in a different way. And it just feels like a much more immersive experience. Inaugural VR auction. I think there'll certainly be more to come after.
Yeah, I know. I was super interested when I saw it pop up on Twitter for Bank of Algorand. He gave us one of the bots themed it for Algonauts, so I jumped in right away to go check it out, and it's really surreal just to see it in the VR space, just hanging there right on the wall. So I'm super excited to participate in that for sure. And we'll actually, I know I was speaking with Houston Crypto about having the auction or access to the auction within our channel. So excited to have hosting that for you guys as well.
So how close do you? I mean, you said when metaverse, and obviously this is a huge first step towards that. But like, how close do you figure we are to being able to hang out at a gallery and like kind of walk around with our cool like NFT avatars and like what is that roadmap like? How close of a reality is that, you think?
I think it's definitely coming. I think at the moment, my understanding is there's a few people that are kind of having conversations and they're trying to find the right people to go out, and there's funding available to make it happen. It's just finding the right people to kind of bring it to life. But having some kind of, Algorand's dedicated metaverse, I guess, kind of like you've got Decentraland and Sandbox and things, but like having an Algorand specific one, it is coming. But I don't know when or how. But yeah, it's the future, I think, like just exploring these kind of VR spaces over the last few weeks. I think it's got everyone really excited, and just that's a tiny glimpse of what's kind of possible and what the future could hold. And I think NFTs are obviously going to play a big role and a big part within that as well.
Yeah. So are you guys, did any of you migrate from another chain over to Algorand, or did you kind of initiate your projects on Algorand and this is kind of the beginning?
For me, it was the beginning. I think I was following crypto for maybe since 2019, but I didn't really invest in it until after GameStop. I think everyone kind of went into a frenzy there, and I came in really understanding how powerful Ethereum was and what it's capable of. But I also came in without any bias. I didn't have a dedication towards a particular chain, and I was immediately gravitated after doing some research towards Algorand technology, the team, some of the partnerships, and and you could start to it was very visible. You could see the ecosystem kind of being developed before your eyes. So I kind of got into Algorand earlier 2021, and then starting to see what they were able to do with the SIE, and seeing Oculus in development really opened my eyes to all the potential of NFTs on Algorand. So I'm a collector of everything: shoes, sports cards. Now it's NFTs, definitely. It's a super space to be in, and I like the fact that I can buy an NFT and get it quickly and get it affordably, in a way that doesn't have a negative impact on the environment, in a way that doesn't price out accessibility to create or to transfer these NFTs. So it just in terms of NFTs, not just as an art collectible, but in terms of all of the I guess the kind of the smart contract implications you can contain within. I can't imagine a better place to build for the long term than Algorand.
Right. I saw that you were about to say something, Algo House, when we started. Did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
Oh, kind of similar, but
yeah,
just been an investor in crypto since 2017. Doing development, tried to learn a little bit of some solidarity a while ago. So getting into more blockchain development will be new for me, but anyway, jumped into Algorand in 2020, and yeah, just never looked back. That's my main holding and where I'm focused completely. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of know the benefits of Algorand, it being cheap, it's fast, and there's, clear benefits compared to Ethereum when it comes to this space. For example, like fractionalizing NFTs and making that even possible because of the cheap transaction fees and all that. But
not spending $100 to transfer over and then it possibly fail on you, which I think is just ridiculous.
Exactly. Is there anything with Algorand, in particular NFTs, that you would like to see grow or change? Is there any kind of changes that you're hoping for, or anything like that, or are you just happy like a
better marketplace? Probably. I think AB2 has its downfalls that everyone can see, and I think there are some things that I haven't checked out yet. That's one. Another one is just more maybe some automated minting tools for artists. That would be really great.
Cool.
Yeah, I think there's positives and negatives to NFTs on Algorand. I think in terms of like future development that would be like to see, I think Stitch Bob nailed it the other day. He put out a tweet that he said that it was the trilemma of Algorand NFTs. And that was on-chain metadata for traits. That's actually looks like there's a community solution that's been developed by Kraken, and I think a couple of the devs from NFT Explorer, and that's now we're actually going to be able to retrospectively add like JSON files to our as a creator to your NFTs, and then that will be on-chain, and people will be able to index, and it'll lead to a rarity tools style platform where you'll be able to sort NFT collections and explore them like different traits and things. So that's the first thing. I think then seeing someone drop something which is kind of like a smart contract minting, like you're seeing perhaps on the big Ethereum projects. And then thirdly, it's currently you can only mint 1,000 ASAs from one wallet address. So when we're seeing like the big collections now on the other chains are all kind of like 10,000 pieces. So with that limitation as well, that's something that would be nice to see solved. So I think that's the current trilemma of NFT issues on Algorand. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a small, that's stuff that's going to get worked out and it's going to happen pretty quickly. But the benefits obviously far outweigh that, and there's so many positives to creating and transacting NFTs on Algorand. From I think the low cost, I think, has really helped shape the community, because with the almost zero cost of minting an NFT, it's so accessible that anyone can do it. So it's really encouraged lots of people to get involved, and I think that's really helped shape the kind of some of the artwork that's out there, and then you've kind of had this organic evolution of a lot of these pieces, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I mean, look, so what we have to look forward to is Algo House auction on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, correct?
Right.
And then we have this VR auction on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Is that
2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific
time.
5 p.m. Eastern.
And yeah. I think people have a good idea of the Goanna that's going to be auctioned there. It's the elusive Joker Goanna, which is super badass. Nobody really knows what squirrel is coming, but I would like to give you guys a hint. Have you seen Squid Games by chance? I'm sure you have been familiar with the Squid Games. Well, what else starts with a squad? It's squirrels, right? So there will be a special edition Squirrel Games NFT, and we're actually looking to build upon that and do a little gamification to kind of showcase what we'd like to do as the end game of the collection. When the collection is over, the fun begins, is my motto here. So we'd like to actually host our own Squirrel Games. For those who haven't seen the show, please go see the show. I'm not going to spoil what's in store for the Squid Games, but whoever does win the special Squirrel Game Squid Game NFT in this VR auction will play a pivotal role in the Squirrel Game. So very much looking forward to that.
That's awesome. Cool.
Nice. That's it.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to add, Shaman, or any final questions?
Just excited to see the auctions coming up on Sunday, and just going to be following the projects. Obviously, you guys are always welcome over in the Discord. I know a lot of people, are always talking about all your guys' art. So definitely stop on by, say hello. Community always loves to see you guys. So, and thanks for coming on the talk.
Cool.
Well.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, it was
awesome. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so now we're back. We still have Benji from Goanna. Thanks for sticking around. And we're here with Jasmine, Ryan, and Evan from ZestBloom. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. So I guess we'll just start off with maybe a general question. You can tell us a little bit about your background and your project, and kind of where it's headed and what's happened so far.
Yeah, I guess I'll start off. So I'm essentially a UI UX developer, front-end development, and C++ and Linux. Also, I've got about 8 or 9 years in JP Morgan investment and finances, and I've got a BS in cell molecular biochem. And this is Ray.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a software engineer. I have 14 years of industry experience in consumer entertainment and cloud computing. I've worked for Canonical and Dolby Labs previously, and this is my first foray into blockchain technology.
That's cool.
And I'm Evan. I'm a PhD candidate at UCLA, very close to graduating, just a few months away. My background's in computational biology, and I do image analysis and deep learning for like microscopy, but it turns out that the math is very similar for images in regardless of what domain. So I help do IP protection and search for ZestBloom.
Cool. And so what, I'm obviously aware of your project. I know it's coming soon. Like, so where is ZestBloom right now? And, how far out are we from it, going live and all that?
Actually, if you'd like, we could probably do a demo right now. We could take a look at the project if you're curious.
I love that.
Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's share it. Sorry, we're probably going to try to get rid of our our 2-month-old.
No worries.
Oh, you said 2 months. I thought you said 2 years.
Sorry. 2 years. 2 years. Sorry.
Okay.
My mistake.
How time flies.
Yeah.
It was all Corona. It's like pandemic time is just.
Yeah, just like this baby was just 2 months. All right.
Traumatized by my child. You know that.
All right.
This is what it's looking like. And let's go to the marketplace.
So you guys are in beta testing right now, correct? Is that?
Yeah, this is beta,
Okay.
so it's closed beta, but we're gonna open it up hopefully this week to open beta. And this is some of the mints we've done right here. This is kind of what we've minted so far. Our daughter's having a kick out of the dog, so it's
She wants to join in.
Yeah.
she's
Well, she can.
excited about the dog picture.
Oh, that's cute. And one of the and you guys have like some pretty cool search engine tools too, right?
Yes. Yes.
We're still building out the technology behind it. So right now it's basic. When we come to market, it will be basic. But that's actually going to be one of the big differentiators of our platform is the stuff that Evan's working on, which would be based search as opposed to typical tag or text-based search. Which in existing implementations, we'll pull up everything that anybody's titled, as a flower, but you'll get all sorts of other things that people happen to associate with flowers, and so on.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean the site's beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. The UI looks really nice. Really clean. I know we were talking a little bit about we need more marketplaces online. So super excited to see that. It looks kind of like you guys have you can kind of build out your own profile. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, we took the social aspect kind of pretty seriously. We felt that people would want to have a way to follow one another or see if there's updates from people that they follow. There's a way to see your collection. There's a way to see your creations, and then see when people have favorited your things. So I think we're going to continue to build that out. We'll have some rewards for people who have the most likes, and we'll use that for raising the content that has the most interaction.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I see obviously you guys have a built-in minting tool for ZestBloom. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's, as Jazz is showing you right now, it's we tried to abstract a lot of the extra things that may be too much information for just minting, and we tried to make it a simple process here.
Can you explain to me, just because I'm no expert here, but how do royalties work with NFTs? Is that something that is very is that widely adopted already, or is that something that is being worked into it now?
I think there's some different implementations currently. We are going to make a point to always honor the royalty that that people have set on our platform. The most basic kind of sales are using the escrow style, list price sales, which it really is only honored at the point of creation of that contract. And as a secondary seller were to go off and maybe sell on another platform, there might not be a guarantee that royalty is honored. So one thing to do is to royalty as one of the metadata attributes, as well as there's also a solution to use clawback style mechanism on the smart contracts, and that actually would ensure that the royalty lives on for the lifetime of the asset after the primary sale. There's a bit of a drawback there, and that's because the number of contracts that you can create as a user per wallet is 10. So
Mhm.
that means 10 auctions live at one time, or 10 contracts, with stateful contracts for facilitating subsequent sales of NFTs. So that's one limitation that we kind of all have to figure out
The solution for
Did they increase that to 50 with the new AVM update?
I thought that was the case, but it turns out that it is the number of contracts you can opt into is 50, but not the number of contracts you can create, unfortunately.
Okay.
Somebody corrected me. I got really excited, and then I was corrected, and I was a little sad.
Maybe in AVM 2.0.
Yeah.
I do think that they're going to try and do away with those limits at some point, but I couldn't speak to any concrete timelines there.
Cool. I was just going to ask if you guys were going to offer like a traditional ASA style NFT as well.
We are doing traditional ASAs, and you can, as a minter, as a creator, you can choose to use the managed contracts, which that the contract occupies the clawback field on the asset, and then the contract will go on, and then be subject to that creating 10 contracts per wallet limit. But you can also do the traditional list price sale with the ASAs using the escrow contracts as well. We just have less control over how those get sold on other marketplaces, and that's fine. That's a choice you'll get to make yourself.
In the previous half hour, we sort of talked about how inexpensive it is to in Algorand, and what an advantage that is for NFTs. And especially, I know that you guys are working on fractionalized buying and ownership, and that's a clear advantage that Algorand possesses, because what's a piece of an NFT if you have to pay so much gas or whatever in order to even do that? And so I guess you talk a little bit about how fractionalized NFTs are going to work on your platform, and like what your kind of vision is for that.
Yeah. So it's a strategy of monetization that's different than what exists, and it increases liquidity. It has like a lot of advantages, right? So traditional NFT, right, only gets sold once every blue moon, right? Whenever there's some impetus for sale. And then also when they do make that sale, they can only satisfy a single customer, right? If you think about it in auction in that style, it's actually a terrible business model, right? It's horrible for user experience, because it leaves guaranteed 99.9% of everybody who participated loses, right? They don't get to participate. So if you build a system that increases the exposure, accessibility of the asset by fractionalizing it, so basically giving people rights to partial ownership, right? You get to own some fraction of the revenue that this thing generates, or some fraction of the value that it possesses. Then more people can buy in, and collectively there's like a lot less risk for artists, right? Because you don't have to do it, there's not as much risk when you price. So like one problem with auctions is they have to set a reserve price, right? An initial price, and hope that it gets bid up, right? If they set too low of a price, then they kind of lose too, because people might not bid it up as high as they want. If they set too high of a price, they may never get any offers at all. But with fractionalized shares, right, the supply and demand sets the price dynamically, so people can start it off. The initialization doesn't matter nearly as much.
Right.
Yeah. So the idea is you can take something like the Mona Lisa that could only attract a single buyer at $50 million, and instead sell 1 million shares at some dynamic price that will actually maximize revenue for the artist, right? Because they'll get a lot more participants at a lower price point. And Algorand, you're right, is the perfect example for this, right? Because the fact that you can make microtransactions, you can sell shares for a penny, right? And it just it makes the exposure of the work so much higher, increases the frequency that the work gets valued, right? And also like some of the value is in the community, right? So if more people can make this part of their profile picture or part of their social life, then it increases the value of the work. It has more owners means more exposure.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. If you're able to own it, you're going to want to go out there and tell all your friends or the community, hey, look, I own, 1/100th of an Goanna, or of, like you said, the Mona Lisa or whatever, and it really generates that interest and lowers the barrier to entry, which I think Algorand kind of is. That's kind of the the poster for Algorand is just,
exactly, and it
lowering
distributes the
barrier to
wealth too. It distributes the wealth
Yep.
from it makes it so that not just the wealthiest participants get to enjoy, right, or get to participate at all, right? It lowers the barrier to entry, so everybody gets to participate, right? Like, I want to own the first Algoanna, right? I don't get to. Somebody else gets to, right? I'm sure that if that, like, these really special, hyper rare events, or like the very first one of a project, for instance, right? That kind of a thing would benefit from having more people who want to get a little piece of the pie, right? And you can charge them a lot for a really small piece.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, it brings in more revenue. And the overall piece will end up being worth probably more than it would be if it was just getting sold as a one for one.
Everyone's happier. I get to participate. I get a piece of the pie. I get a little bit of usage rights or some kind of minimal rights, and the owner gets a lot more money because they can crowdfund the revenue.
Right. How new is ZestBloom? I mean, how long ago did this idea, when did this idea to start this, and did you shop around different blockchains and land on Algorand, or what's the origin of this?
Yeah, so back in about April, Jasmine and I had started talking about trying to build a blockchain-based project, and we were excited by the possibilities of NFTs. Smart contracts enabling arbitrary bits of code to be assembled into fun and engaging new ways to, participate in community and the media itself. And we did exactly that. We shopped around on different blockchains. I spent a lot of time reading up on different chains, and I kept coming back to Algorand because I found as a trader last fall, not really a trader, but I found it to be a compelling project to buy and invest into last fall. And I kept looking at the different technologies and what developer resources they offered, and the speed and the cost of transactions, and I just kept coming back to Algorand. And then right about the time we were really committing to starting a project, they had released the ASA not the ASA standard, but the ASA component, as well as the atomic transfers, and they had smart contracts working. So it was just like the right time. We knew that this was going to be an upcoming technology. It's the right time to get involved and try and build out the ecosystem.
Yeah. Are you surprised on how fast to me it just feels like this is progressing really quickly, like especially the NFT space. It just seems like new artists and cool art. I mean, especially like Algoanna is like some of the coolest stuff out there. And there's just it seems to be, there's a lot of energy at Algorand. So it seems like you made the right choice is what I'm trying to say. Seems like
absolutely.
You made the right choice.
We've been building this thing for it feels like ages, and we're still not ready to our embarrassment. We actually met Ben, I don't know, eight or so weeks ago, a bit before when his project came out, and you've been killing it. We've been watching your success, and
Thank you.
Big not just your project, like the Algorillas, and everybody's coming out, so much energy. It's exciting. We're getting FOMO right now because we're like, why are we not ready now?
Right, you're missing all the good projects. I know. I'm kicking myself with Algoanna personally. I know a couple of the guys in the Algonauts Discord were talking about your project, however many weeks ago it was, and I kind of left the NFT game a little bit recently. Been trying to focus, more on just the chat and whatnot, and definitely kicking myself for not getting one. Especially with all the cool stuff that you guys have coming out. So,
there's still time, guys. There's still plenty of time.
We're all getting FOMO over here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I do think sometimes about the governance, how the effective governance, layer one governance on NFT volume 2.
Yeah, totally. And then Algoanna's got this really cool governance plan as well for that specific project. It seems like there's just a lot of innovation and very talented people. How did ZestBloom? What's the origin of the name ZestBloom?
Well, I think Ryan was getting a little complicated with his names. He was using a lot of 4 names, and I was just like, can we just do 2-syllable name that's really memorable? And then ZestBloom came up, and that's what we did it on. I think the idea is that it should be memorable and catchy and simplistic. And people love to be complicated with their language, but people don't recall complication; they recall simplicity. So I think it's about simplicity.
One of the big reasons we found Algorand compelling as a blockchain was that they were carbon negative. And so with our name, we kind of felt that it kind of had that organic component to it and that growth component to it. Like it's kind of a friendly, approachable name.
Yeah,
that's like the carbon negative or carbon neutral and carbon negative of Algorand. ZestBloom does feel very fresh and blooming, obviously. And you guys also have a environmental aspect to your project, correct? There is
You're talking about the impact NFTs that we're participating with Project Arc in particular?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was talking about Project Arc, but if there's other things that you want to discuss, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a few instances where we've met up with other individuals that are interested in furthering that aspect and continuing that eco-friendly concept. But we're currently working with Project Arc to facilitate, it's going to be kind of a, a creative outlook and project for artists to create animals that they favor or endangered. And those particular animals will have a special smart contract that will facilitate a 5% from our auction, from our commission actually going towards different charities like Sea Legacy and WWF. So just different cool charities out there that we want to partake in. So
that's cool. So the NFTs, so they'll have a specific animal that somebody might be concerned about, and you can kind of direct the contribution towards helping that specific animal. Is that?
Yeah, it's open-ended to just works of animals. So any animal, drawing your image. So this is actually right up your alley, Ben.
Yeah.
Right.
Help iguanas in the world.
Yeah, it's definitely something we could look at. Because we're obviously like in the same boat. We're passionate about using our project to have a real world impact, and we've kind of at the moment we've been doing that through the tree planting initiative that we've got going. But I've been really inspired actually by I'm seeing kind of a lot of the other NFT artists and creators on Algorand. They're all kind of looking for ways that they can have impacts as well. I know Crypto Squirrel, who we had on earlier, he actually jumped in, and so did Tim P from Linglings, and they took part and they purchased some trees directly, which we've obviously added to the project, which was really great to see. I think Yieldlings have just done a big donation to an animal-based charity as well. And I've had a few NFT creators kind of hit me up behind the scenes as well, asking about how they could get involved and what sort of charity things that they could do. So I think it speaks a lot to the nature of the community that we've got in Algorand, that everyone's everyone's keen to have a positive impact and try and do something good, which is, it's just awesome and inspiring to be a part of.
Yeah,
100%.
And it seems contagious too, because every project I look at, everybody's adopting this attitude, whether, it just seems to be perpetuating itself. And I think that's how these kind of movements actually gain steam and make a difference, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, especially with, iguanas, if it was specific to iguanas, the popularity of your project, we could get some iguanas a place in like Beverly Hills or something. I don't know. We have some like Gucci iguanas.
Gucci iguanas, I like that.
That's an idea for you on the next one, Benji.
That's Goanna 2.0.
A Gucci iguana, they'll be like my pet in the metaverse. Anyways, so what else should we talk about here? What, you guys are probably pretty close. I mean, the site looks clean. It looks ready to my eyes, it looks pretty ready to go. What should we be looking out for in the near future?
Still muted. We're looking to have the beta opened up to some more users and get some higher volume running through on testnet, make sure that things are working smoothly. We have list price and offer sales working in the pipeline, and we really like to nail the auction part of it before we can truly go. We've got the updates to AVM pending on testnet and mainnet, and I'm rewriting contracts that we had previously written for Teal 4 to work on Teal 5, and so it's not likely we're going to release until those updates are live. Also, there's this ARC3 metadata standard that there's been a lot of talk about. I've been following along with the discussion. It changes almost every day what people want to end up doing and putting on the metadata. And one of the really big significant changes that's kind of a departure about what marketplaces are doing today is the reattribution of the URL field of the NFTs to be, instead of pointing directly to the media, to point to the metadata file, which has some pros and cons. I mean, it allows more information about the asset to be retrieved, but it also takes a little bit longer and for the sites to get the content because it's a two-step process. I have to go back and check what the latest is on that, but I really like for us to be supporting the ARC3 standard. It allows for a lot of the interoperability and things, and a lot of the cross-chain stuff to happen as well. So yeah, we're really excited about being able to do that.
Could I ask actually on that note? Sorry to jump in. I was going to say, have you guys seen some of the stuff that I think it's been more kind of community led from within the NFT space, where they're actually pushing their own standard, which is going to be ARC 69?
Actually.
That's definitely something worth looking at. I know like Kraken from Rand, and I think the guys at NFT Explorer and Stitchbob from Yieldlings have all kind of been the drivers behind it. But the idea was essentially to have the ability that creators, and it will work retrospectively, but you'll be able to add a JSON file to the notes field on all your ASAs, and that will hold all the trait information. And the idea is this could basically lead to like a rarity tools style system where websites will be able to you'll be able to filter collections by rarities, and it will display, this one's rare because it's only 5% of the collection have this attribute and things.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think the rarity stuff, would that be stored on the JSON metadata, or would that be stored along with the transaction?
I think it's, I'm not 100% across it at the moment. It's still quite new, but I think it's the JSON's just going to hold kind of the different attributes and traits. And then it might have to be, I think it would then have to be kind of the websites themselves would probably have to manually calculate the percentages and things.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, I'd really love to read it and get familiar with it. I think the one drawback with that particular aspect of it is the note of the transaction is stored as an attribute of the transaction during the minting, as opposed to something that's on the ASA itself. So there is a little bit of an extra step there on the back end, and we have to have, and that would require that all of the marketplaces that are participating in that have an indexer so that they can retrieve that information. Otherwise, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think the ARC discussion is something that maybe we can have some of you guys back on for, because I know it's a hot topic in the community. It was actually on my list to possibly kind of dive into. I'm glad we were able to touch on it, but I know there's just so much that goes on into it. But I think that's, a positive step in the NFT space, is to develop this different criteria that, will just further the NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, are there tools to help protect artists and their copyrights and make sure that people aren't like, taking the art and kind of just changing a little something and then, jumping ahead and trying to basically just knock off NFTs and poaching? Like, how do you protect the artists? How does ZestBloom maybe in particular protect the artist?
Yeah, there are a couple of systems that exist, like in the market in general, like in NFT space. In general, like just to talk about one example is like DeviantArt has Deviant Protect. So they use like this deep learning image similarity network to go and crawl across the web to see if there's anything that's similar to something that an artist is posting on DeviantArt to protect their copyright. But it's a subscription model, right? So it's very expensive, big, shiny black box that tells people whether or not they're similar, right? And it costs a lot of money to run, so they have to charge a high subscription, right? It's not something that they can just offer for free.
Right.
We have an algorithm that is about to be patent pending. It's going to be filed like tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
And the algorithm is cheap enough that you can run it on every transaction. So what it does is it looks for like characteristic fingerprint regions of the image, and saves a record of all the unique parts of the image in the metadata itself, right? So then when people can, if somebody tries to copy or like crop it out or take a subset of the image, you'll still find those same regions of interest, even if they blur it or add a watermark. And so it'll be flagged in our system as being a derivative work. So the idea is that every piece, as soon as it gets minted, we'll basically have an index, a decentralized index that's on the data itself, that anybody can access, to show that it's a proof of originality, that shows that it's not a copy or stolen misuse from somebody else on the blockchain. So there's nothing like that on Algorand right now.
Cool.
I think there's like one group that's doing. Literally, they're doing manually. They're taking images and putting them into Google reverse image search.
Okay.
And checking it manually. That obviously that solution doesn't scale.
Yeah. So this is actually something that's is unique to your project that you're working, this algorithm that you're working on.
Yeah.
That's all. Oh, good. I'm glad.
And that comes from probably you, Evan, right? Because you said that was your background, is that whole.
Yeah, image analysis
thing.
is really an image analysis pipeline. So, and by the way, it doesn't just work for images; it also can work for sound or video. So the concept is really generalizable, and it's really effective at not just enforcing copyright like YouTube can do, right, or anybody can do. It's the one advantage here is it's decentralized and transparent. So, unlike YouTube, who just is like this oracle that tells you, yes, this is violates copyright, and we don't have to tell you anything else. This will tell you what part of your work is actually being stolen, and can tell you what the other work is. So it makes disputes pretty easy, right? It's easy to tell.
Right.
And so now we only plan on indexing everything on the Algorand blockchain. I guess that's still a nice service to index everything on the blockchain, so anybody would be able to look up an asset ID and see if it's a copy of something else. But at some point we could expand that to other, indexing other blockchains, because there's problems where people just take other projects from other blockchains and we'll put it on Algorand, right?
Right.
So to solve that problem, and it's really just a service to collectors, right? We're trying to give collectors a reason to come to ZestBloom, and where are we adding value to the NFTs, right? I think that's a huge source of value, just being able to give collectors confidence that the artwork isn't a blatant duplicate or copy.
Yeah.
And we already have a version of it working. So I think and the nice thing is that all you have to do is put a hash on an extra hash in the metadata. So it's really memory efficient, and we already have that system working. So I think it'll be either available at launch or really close to.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, circle back to the transaction note, where we'll be putting the fingerprint hash on the transaction note.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Cool. And so the roadmap for ZestBloom, we know that you guys are getting close to the mainnet launch, and then so is there like are there markers in 2022? Are there other things that you have further out in the future that you're planning on, or are you kind of you have your product and you're ready? Once you launch, it's you'll be adjusting as you go and stuff like that?
It's definitely going to be evolving. I think we've got a lot of things in mind. We're also include ACH debit and credit transactions, so that we're more agnostic and open to the community, and kind of pulling our way out from the ecosystem of blockchain technology and opening up to mainstream I think it's really important that this is an accessible product for every individual and not just for the common crypto kind of fanatic, because I think that's fantastic. But I also feel like this is something that's revolutionary and it's going to change the world. And it's great if it becomes a little bit more familiar with other individuals. So that's something we'll be implementing pretty early on, actually, after our launch, probably a month after our launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys plan on possibly even bringing in other blockchains, or are you guys going to be staying on Algorand and then just kind of, scoping out to, like you said, the ACH and whatnot?
We're going to continue to focus on Algorand. We believe Algorand is a superior blockchain technology. The only reason we would want to look at other blockchains would be able to index and gather information about the content that's been posted there as well, to add to our search capabilities, as well as there's a bit of a thought towards being able to wrap content from other blockchains, but offer them for sale on Algorand.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the real important part of that the reason why we're doing the ACH and wire and credit debit is just to onboard the vast majority of people who haven't figured out crypto yet. Like, most people haven't even figured out crypto, and then even of the people who figured out crypto, most of them don't own NFTs. Right. So there's layers and layers of barriers here, and so this is just one way. It's like we're giving people a shallow end into the NFT pool.
Yeah. So let's say, like, my mom wants to buy an NFT, and so she just knows how to deal with an ACH. She's familiar with that way of payment, or a debit card. So if she goes to ZestBloom and tries to buy an NFT to display in her digital frame, amongst all of her fake plants. I don't know why she has fake plants, but that's okay. My mom, I guess it's just a maintenance thing. But I don't know, what am I doing? So where would she put this NFT? She would have to get a wallet.
We would generate the wallet and give her the keys, but then do all the transactional stuff through the API, which allows the ACH transfers.
And we try to have information guiding them on how to eventually transfer this to their own private wallet, because that's the end goal. But if they need a custodian to hold their hand for the first n amount of this, then we're happy to be that custodian.
I mean,
and so when an artist, so for example, if Benji wants to throw up one of the Algoannas on there, and do you allow it to be purchased in Algorand as well as ACH? Is it going to be one in specific? Is there going to be some maybe fluctuation where it could be tied to the Algorand price? So if he wants to sell it for 1,000 algos, obviously that price is constantly fluctuating. Would there be some kind of scalability there, or?
Yeah, I think we haven't ironed out all those particular details yet, but I think I would envision it being tied to the requested price in algos, and I think for using the card debit system, there's I think going to be a
the way it works is Circle will take in the cost, and they will actually do the fiat transaction, and then they will give the actual amount of what the cost of the product is, and then you would check out. Yeah, Circle actually does the exchange for you, so they would
immediately.
Yeah,
exactly.
The way it'll interface is it'll be all the prices are going to be displayed in Algo, right? And people can there'll also be a button when you try to purchase, right? If you don't have a wallet attached, right? To just use the fiat option.
Got it. We'll just exchange it right there and we're working on making it so that the algo price actually flips to a dollar price. So you'll be able to see that interchange going back and forth, and you'll be able to kind of weigh in on whether you can put it or not. Yeah. I think that's one of the bigger problems with Ethereum. It's translating that cost and not knowing what the gas price is. So you're hit with the gas price, and then you're hit with kind of, it looks like a reasonably priced product, and then you're like, wait, hold on, $1,000?
You're like, what happened? Well, that's just dealing with And that's just dealing with Ethereum in general. Like if you if you buy, you're like, oh, I want to stake my amp, and you're like, oh man, like what the heck? Like this is so expensive. Just send it. But yeah, all right. Well, so what else do we got? I feel pretty good. What do you got, Andrew? Or
I mean, I think pretty good discussion. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to mention while we have you, on the video, or yeah.
There's a cool. Do you guys know about the VR auction that's happening on Sunday with Goanna and others?
No, I heard it. I heard like the tail end of that conversation.
Yeah, so basically we're going to build on this idea of I don't know if you've seen the VR kind of gallery hubs that a lot of the creators have been using, but we're going to kind of take that to the next level. And on Sunday we've got 5 different artists. So there's myself, the Algobots, Algo Squirrel, Houston Crypto, and who does it, Algorand, and Pixel Traits, and we're all going to put a piece in each, and then we're going to run a live in-person auction. It's going to happen in one of these galleries in the metaverse. So it'll be a hosted event. Hopefully, Michael Cotton from Meld and Algo is going to come on, and he's actually going to run the auction and host it. It's going to be streamed out live through the Discord, so people will be able to actually bid live through the Discord chat. And we're going to auction off 5 of these pieces and see how it goes in this kind of experimental live event, which I don't think it's certainly never been done on Algorand before. Whether it's been done on another platform, I don't know. But it was.
That's funny that you said that. I actually said that earlier today, that it would be really cool because we're going to do a 2D, 3D gallery as well attached to people's personal links. And I said, there'll be a time where people will be walking into these virtual galleries and purchasing them right there and then. And then these different artists would have these events. And sure enough, here it is. You're doing exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so this is going to be a live one, and then we're going to do for our major release this weekend, because we're dropping 40 pieces. So one of them's going into the auction. The other 40 pieces, we're actually going to do like a scavenger hunt. So we're going to set up a series of these virtual spaces, and you'll go into them and you'll be able to explore them, and you'll be able to find like different pieces and purchase them directly through the gallery as well.
That's cool. It's awesome.
So just trying to bring kind of new different ways to make it kind of like slightly gamify and bring in some kind of experience to the drop mechanism as well. It's something we're exploring pretty heavily at the moment, just trying to make it as fun an experience as possible for the collectors.
That's sweet. It's really cool. I was thinking like the 2D, 3D gallery system, the way they create them right now, it's actually not as creative as it can be. I think that you could probably make the art piece the entire volume and not cut it down to like a hanging piece. But you can actually turn the NFT to the wall of the gallery. You're walking through a maze of imagery. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you're doing, something similar to that. But I feel like we're accustomed to traditional galleries, but in the NFT realm and the VR world, you can do anything. You can buy in any form or any way. It's in space.
Really like the scavenger hunt idea you brought up, though.
You love scavenger hunts.
There's a bit of the aspect of having to go find it. Yeah, actually, that's a true story.
His birthday.
I organized a scavenger hunt 1 year.
Guys, all about it. Did a whole beer thing. That was actually fun.
Yeah, it sounds 10 times better.
Yeah, I think as well, part of the motivation for us behind the scavenger hunt is we've seen at the moment there's more demand than supply. So we're trying to find ways that we can make it a fair mechanism to give everyone a chance to take part and actually get one of the pieces. And just so it's not just like whoever's the first one to click on the thing as soon as the listing goes live. This is just another mechanism that hopefully we can kind of broaden our community, because that's something we're conscious of. Was we don't want to end up in a position where we've got nearly 500 pieces out there, but it's owned by like 50 collectors. We want to have 500 pieces out there owned by 500 people, and have as big a community as possible.
Yeah, right.
So,
are you going to do any like the Dutch auctions style where it goes backwards and it goes down in you and you have to purchase it?
Yeah, we've done one or two of those already. So it's definitely an option that we've used. It's quite fun. I think some people find it, I don't know, it kind of plays on a little bit of FOMO. So it's not always the fairest method, I suppose. So sometimes it can be seen as a little bit controversial. But I think that's just, the nature of the ecosystem at the moment is we're kind of limited in terms of methods that we can do these releases. And that's, obviously one of the really exciting things about you guys coming on board is it's another option and another way that pieces can be released. And I think that's great. That's what it's all about.
On our platform. I've been wanting to get an Algoanna, and I want to do it, but I want to do it on our platform so bad.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Are you guys familiar with Sotheby's and on Decentraland and how sophisticated that is?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I've like walked through it. It's okay. It's you anticipate. It's funny because when we first started out, we first had Evan join us because initially Ryan and I had started this adventure on our own, and then Evan thankfully picked us to join us in this team effort. We actually met with one from Sotheby's, and this young woman said that she thinks this is all a joke and NFTs are ridiculous, and she pretty much just ignored anything we had to provide for her of any sort of value and cut us down completely. And then you see Sotheby's like doing Decentraland and selling NFTs. Yep. It's so funny, the contradiction in that industry. It's she didn't take us seriously whatsoever and didn't see a vision in anything we were accomplishing or doing.
And now Sotheby's on it, following in your footsteps.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's kind of funny to see that.
See this, how she had no idea of like what Sotheby's was even working on, I guess.
No, and she's in her 30s. She was well informed, but she found it a joke and pathetic. I mean, straight out.
I think it's more of a matter of the people in the traditional art world. If they're not embracing these, they feel
threatened by it. Yeah, I think it's a security issue for her. It was like her insecurities really came out through that meeting.
Yeah, like her job is on the line if it's successful. Yeah,
she actually said that.
Yeah,
she did.
She's trying to replace us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you start making your opinions based solely on your occupation, you're not going to always be right, I guess. So, I guess we'll end this with just because you kind of brought that up, and thank you guys for going a little bit past time. We appreciate that. And so, just like where you see NFTs in general, and how NFTs succeed, and like what is the future? Because it seems like it's gaining steam. Like this woman at Sotheby's and people on CNBC, they all think that it's just going to come crashing down and it's going to, it's just the biggest bubble in existence. So what are each of your thoughts on NFTs in the future?
I can start and then you go. Yeah, cool. So what I was thinking, we had a meeting earlier today with a really awesome engineering group in India, and they had talked about how they envisioned NFTs, and they had started in the industry in 2017. And some of the concept ideas they came up with were things that I thought about, but they had it more refined idea. And one of the things they mentioned was, for instance, if you could give out an icon or an image of a Coca-Cola bottle to 5 of your friends, you'd collect 5 or 6, and then you'd actually have enough to go and get a free drink of Coke. I think that's kind of a cool idea. And the other one they brought up was if you looked at a movie and you saw a sword in that movie that you liked or a weapon, then you could click on that weapon and turn into your wallet. In your wallet, it could actually be used in a video game as a skin to fight against your opponent. It's kind of awesome that they thought about these cool conceptual ideas that come out in the real world. And I think that's where NFTs will be going. It's just a matter of time and how we start implementing these ideas in the world. Yeah.
Right. That is cool.
Absolutely that. I mean, there's utilities that people haven't even thought of yet, and it's It's about participation. It's about finding those utilities, and people have lived for centuries collecting wilder things, that physical items that have utility. So I don't see that NFTs are going to go away anytime soon.
Especially with the metaverse, which is obviously coming. We're moving more and more into a digital space. So, I mean, I saw, bringing up Decentraland again, but like, or no, this was Roblox maybe, but like we talked about Gucci earlier. Like a Gucci purse went for like 15 grand, as for somebody to carry around their avatar. So like, it's just like, it's exciting stuff. So anyways, so what do you think, Evan?
Yeah, so I come at it from the perspective of community ownership. I think right now we're seeing an NFT market where only the top 0.01% of people get to participate. Nobody knows what it looks like when 50% of the population is participating, right? Like nobody knows what that looks like, and I think that's the future we're trying to build towards. What does it look like when somebody can walk around LACMA and scan a QR code and buy a copy right then and there, right? What does that future look like? Or what does it look like when the creators natively, right? We see NFTs as a form of monetization. It's a new form of monetization, right? It's like specifically the content, just like a subscription is on Patreon, right? It's a subscription model, but it's another way of monetizing the content. And so what does it look like when a majority of content creators they have their own community of people? And so we think that the future is going to be community owned, primarily through some kind of DAO. And the DAO will have like a bunch of incentives that'll make it much better for creators to publish their work through the DAO, and in exchange, the DAO provides them with access to a large community of people, right? Like so the community gets to own a part of all the work. So right. I think there's going to be an explosion of community ownership models, right, where people are able to pay into a system in order to receive endless content, or they'll be able to own a piece of a lot of content that's already there. So I definitely think that the future is going to be governed by a DAO, and it's going to be people participating in the work in a much broader sense. It'll be a lot more accessible because people will be able to like invest directly in the community.
Yeah. You know something about the DAO and all that, right, Benji? So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's something we want to look to move towards. That we're going to establish some kind of Goanna-based DAO that our owners will be able to take part, and I'm kind of seeing that as something where they're going to take ownership of it and be able to drive how that looks and where that goes. And I think thinking more broadly about the NFT space, like picking up on everything that you guys have been talking about, I agree completely. Like, we're just getting started, and we're only just starting to scratch the surface of what's possible with this kind of new technology and new ways of thinking. And like NFTs, like what we've seen outside of just kind of like the art space, we've got like this tokenization of real estate, which is already happening, and the rate at which we're going to see this happen, I think, like the changes that we've seen happen kind of technology wise over the last 5 years, we're going to see that's going to happen like over like periods of months, and it's just we're looking at kind of some kind of exponential change in terms of how fast this is going to develop and move, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know when you look at like the technology curve, you can look at the last 20, 30 years, but just how far we've come. Most people would have never thought this, and I think really in the next 5-10 years, it's going to be kind of the same situation where we're going to see the evolution of, whether it be with just NFTs or just, the whole technology space in general. It's going to be a pretty crazy experience, I think.
I agree with that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and thank you, Benji, for sticking around. That was helpful and cool to have you here the whole time. And it was a pleasure to see your baby for a second, meet your dog, and and see your website or see your site, which looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been working.
We're super excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love for sure, and so we're really excited to make it public, and we can't wait to see people use it. I mean, I think that's the exciting moment for an engineer, is to see people use your product or people purchase your art. Like that's why you do it, right? You do it so that you can see that other people enjoy what you've created, and we're really psyched about that. By the way, if you do the Gucci Algo or the Gucci Goanna, you should make it like a purse on the Goanna. It should be a human skin.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, right. I mean, that's actually that's pretty good.
Wow, I feel like we've collectively created a piece. Yeah.
Well, there's definitely been a push for a more female-based Goannas, because it's quite, and I think it's speaking more broadly. A lot of the NFTs are quite male-focused in terms of the characters, so I think that's definitely something that we may explore as well.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
I've seen those the alien girls. I see those.
Yeah,
those are pretty. Those are cool. Yeah,
that's a cool project.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Big thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome back on anytime you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Bye.
Adios, guys.
Bye.
Bye.